All right, welcome back to another episode of a Q&A with Coach Trey. I am Brandon, and I'm sitting right across from Coach Trey.
Greetings.
Greetings. And we are going to be chatting today a lot of stuff about the Olympics, as well as some questions coming in from our Facebook group. And so if you guys are listening to this on the podcast, just know that Trey has a really fun shirt that he's wearing right now.
Yes, if you're watching, enjoy the psychedelic show here that I'm probably giving you as you look at my shirt.
He's looking pretty ridiculous, so it should be fun. But we've got lots of things we want to dive into, and so Trey, I know one of those is we wanted to chat about the Olympics a little bit to get rolling.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And I think I've mentioned to you I don't get as much into the United States and us versus the world. I just like to watch the incredible stories,
because it's really not a competition.
Of course not.
Right.
But it was funny because I met a guy who was actually from Jamaica, and he was like, "Oh, look what we did to you." So I'm like, "I've got news for you. My boys pull for Usain Bolt." I'm like, that is their favorite sprinter. I'm like, so they don't cheer for the United States. Yeah. I mean, they like to see the best athlete, and I'm kind of the same way. So whether it's the 800 meters, the 1500, love to watch Mo Farah. So I love to watch the best athletes perform. And so now one of the best who I'm excited about, finished watching the competition. Of course, this is recording on Thursday, but Ashton Eaton, to me, watching him is just absolutely incredible. But watching some of the efforts in some of these races, Jenny Simpson, what she did in the 1500 was fantastic. But yeah, watching these athletes, they never cease to amaze me, the effort that they put in and sacrifice they put in over all these years. So how about you? What does anything stood out in particular?
I think it's always the sprinting that I watch a lot of. Yeah. And so that's been fun. I've loved the reactions of everybody to the sprinting. I know we talked a little bit this morning. We did an intro for an episode that just came out actually on Thursday with David Bishop, and we talked a little about it. And I had some pictures that I wanted to show to go with it. And so actually, you know what? We'll get into our first question, because I think this will get into a little bit of why I enjoy sprinting so much. So to go with our first question, this is coming from Gregory Byerline. He says, let's talk steeplechase. Why does it not get the coverage and chatter like marathons, half marathons, and other track and field events? Maybe I'll make it my goal to jump over something when I'm running intervals and tempo. Smiley face thing.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing, because I'm with you, Gregory, because not only does it not get the respect of some of the fans, I think it doesn't get the respect because, like, you had the TiVo. I had to TiVo it this week because I knew what time they were starting. I actually researched and saw it, so I actually recorded both races so I could see them. They don't even show replays in the evening, and so it is perplexing. They don't show them at a time of the day that most fans are watching, and it is disappointing to me because I think it is one of the most entertaining races. That's what I don't get. They'll show the 5,000 meters and the 10,000 meters, but yet they won't show a race that lasts 8 or 9 minutes. And I'm like, it is, when you look at strategy and you look at effort that it involves, that to me is one of the most tactical races out there. So it is, and that's the reason I had some hope. And Greg, I was glad you commented on this, because now I have some hope after looking at Emma Coburn and Evan Jaeger. And even Evan made the comment that he hopes, and Emma did too, that there's some other athletes, that some of the younger athletes, he hopes they see this and say, hey, I'm willing to give this kind of event a shot, because it's a grueling event, but it is an amazing event to watch, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So I am perplexed as how come it doesn't get any publicity.
Yeah, it seems like it's always the sprinting events or the ones we're going to win a gold in that you hear about. Yeah. I will say one of the things that I like most probably is the pictures of Usain Bolt that show up. And so I've got a few of them. So I'll say this is probably some of the reason why we get quite the reaction. I'll get off to the side a little bit. There we go. So you've got him doing his crazy moves. I know Mo does like the Mo above his head. Which do you know the story behind that? The backstory? I read it the other day.
I don't think I do. Tell me.
He was like on a news interview, and they asked him, do you have like a signature move? I guess like Usain Bolt. And he's like, no. And they're like, what if you just made like an M for Mo? He's like this? And they're like, yeah. And so he started doing it. Yes, that's how it started. So I'll say you got him doing crazy stuff like this. And then I know you guys probably saw it on, was that Saturday or Sunday, the 100 final?
Yeah.
when he was looking back and grinning. And I read a story about this person. So if you guys are listening, you want to make sure and check this out on the blog. But this is a picture from Usain Bolt of him kind of grinning over his shoulder, looking back. And they said that the guy shooting this was actually covering like the long jump, I think.
Wow.
And so he said
really?
just like out of like, he's like, you know what, I'll go and shoot it and see what I get. And he wasn't officially supposed to cover it, but that's
so
been
funny.
a fun one. And then the last one, this was from last night, so this is Wednesday night.
This one was great.
This is him talking a little trash, not really talking trash, but
having some fun with
during the 200 semifinals when he was kind of pulling off, and the guy from Canada, which I can't remember his name right now, was pushing a little bit forward. So yeah, those are fun. So I'd say you've got that photogenic personality, which I don't quite know if you have in other sports that helps out. But still, even if he wasn't there, people would be watching the 100. So
yeah, and I thought Otto Bolden said it good the other night. He said right on the money. He said back when we were running, we were known, hey, the best way to do this is to be serious, try not to think about it. He's like, but now the more I've watched this, he said, I think lighthearted and carefree is probably the best way to enter these races. So it was interesting and it has been fun to see the difference because no other sprinter smiles and has fun the way he does. So that's what makes him so entertaining.
Yeah, it's been a blast to watch. All right, so we are going to move right along. We got a couple more questions. Again, if you guys are watching this live and know the feeds in and out, we're still working on figuring out a better way to get this to go on, but we want to make sure we have a good recording for our podcast and our YouTube listeners. So we've got a question coming in. This one's coming in from Melissa Rosden. She says, does anyone have great tips for hip thigh tweak from taking a bad step during a run? It's not strain, just nagging me. Thanks.
Well, that's a good question right there. I'd be curious what some of the comments are, but I would say the first thing I would initially do is the same thing that I always recommend, which is rice, rest, and take as much time as you need. Ice, and attack it with ice. I mean, 20 minutes every 2 to 3 hours. Compression, if you have any compression tights or compression shorts, or wrap it up, I would wrap it up as much as possible. And then elevation. So lay on the bed, lay on the couch, and put some pillows underneath that thing. And I would attack it the first probably 4 to 5 days, maybe 6 days, and do as much of that as you need. The thing I would be careful about is I don't think I would do any major stretching while this is going on. I would let it heal. Then once it does heal, this is where I think dynamic stretching comes in really, really good. Some of those hip movements and leg kicks, and just trying to dynamically stretch it. And then I think once you do, I think getting in some type of body weight strength work is going to be good. Some kind of probably plyometrics and jumps. Once it heals, if it's even close to feeling tweaked, I wouldn't do any of that. So that's where I say all of that waits till probably well after a week after it's back to normal. But be careful with the muscles. I'll say that because the muscles can linger. Just when you think it's healthy, something else will happen. So, but certainly hit the rest, the ice, the compression, elevation. I think that's your best bet. And then continue, whether it's the post run and before you run, make sure you're doing that dynamic stretching. That's going to help warm those muscles up and hopefully keep it from happening again. So, Melissa, hope that helps.
Good stuff. All right, so we've got another question coming in, and this one is from pull up the wrong one. This one was a little bit interesting, so we'll see where this takes us. Yeah. This is coming from Kristen King. She says, anyone carry while running? And we had to look into the comments a little bit more. She means carrying a gun. So if so, please name a few good ways / holsters. I'm getting strawberries, so like rubs from carrying, but don't want to go without. So do you have any advice?
Well, I don't know what to carry, which I'd be curious on what the comments are. But I thought this was a great question because it does bring up something that a lot of us have to deal with, and me from a couple of angles. I've actually my wife has had some problems out and about a couple of times, so it's rare without me or without my oldest son, or if she's not running with somebody else, she's always running with somebody else now, and because before she was having to carry something, so there's that. I I think the other thing is just general safety. I remember a run I had a few years ago. We were at a cabin in North Carolina, and I was like, hey, this is great. I'm going to go just like out in the hills of North Carolina and run. That was actually an unwise choice. Apparently, I find myself in some territory I probably did not belong in, if you can imagine, in the hills of North Carolina. Yeah. And so I didn't have anything with me, and so this came up with me the other day around here. I had a dog problem chasing me. So I don't think it's just that, but if I hate to think about it, but if you read a couple of stories recently, this is not uncommon. So I think I'd be curious what the comments are about people who are carrying, but I will tell you, if you're out there and if you're running alone, I think you would be wise to have something in your pocket or something in your spy belt or something in your back pocket, because it's, unfortunately, we live in a day and age where you have to be mindful. And so I think that's where it's also important. That's where a lot of, whether it's live Strava, I know Strava does like live tracking now, but communicating with others and running with others, I think these are all things to be mindful of and take it seriously. I'm that way with cars. Out there where I live, we had a biker killed, a cyclist. We had him killed, I think, back in June. And it's one of those things that just, it hurts you as an athlete when you see that happening, knowing someone's out there just trying to enjoy life and do what they love to do, and instead that happens. So, Chris, I think it's a great question, something to be mindful of, and I hopefully you've got some good answers of people who potentially are carrying. But I do think it is something just for us not to worry about or stress about, but I think it is something to always be aware of, where you're running, what your surroundings are, who you're running with. I think those are all weighty questions for us to answer as runners.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Yeah, there are some comments in our Facebook group that I know some folks are answering back with Kristen. And if you guys want to join, as always, if you guys go to connectrunclub.com/Facebook, you can check out the tips from our growing community. And I really would love for you guys just to check us out over there. We have a blast chatting with you guys each week. And you guys can join and get your questions answered potentially live whenever we get these things actually post live, which it's not doing right now.
Well, one of my favorite things, and we see a lot of them, but I love the post-race pictures. So whether it is around a lake, in your yard, or wherever, or on an aircraft carrier, wherever that would be.
Yeah, we had someone on an aircraft carrier, which is pretty cool.
It is very cool. So send your post-run pictures. I love to see those. It's really neat. And some of the stories here recently about how they've gutted it out, especially in this heat. Let me tell you something. As I'm getting ready for some of my runs, some of those are a lot of fun to read. That, hey, look, you're not the only one dealing with the same mental obstacles that you are. All of us are in that. So it's always fun to read those. So keep posting.
Those are good. All right. So speaking of the group, we had a question coming in. Not a question, but each Wednesday we put out a new post, and it's almost like a survey. And so this week we asked, it's another Olympic edition of Would You Rather Wednesday. So would you rather, Trey, win a bronze medal with everyone running at their best, or win a gold medal because everyone else tripped and fell down?
I know we probably differ on this.
Yep.
I'm going to go the bronze medal because I like to be able to be pushed to my limit.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of, I'll give you, for instance, it's the reason I love doing the Peachtree as opposed to a small race, because I always know my best time is going to be at the Peachtree, because I've got people who are better and stronger that are pushing me to be better.
Yeah.
Because I've run some races where I've been alone or been out there by myself, and I do not come close to running my best time just because I don't have any pressure.
So we almost could have asked, would you rather set a new PR or win a small race? Because that's kind of what we're saying.
That's another one.
And for me, I mean, if you're winning your gold medal in the Olympics, you're probably pretty fast. But
probably pretty fast.
I mean, I'll tell people all day long I won the gold. I don't care how many people fell down. So, but yeah, so that's one we had going. So let us know.
I like that.
Tweet at us at Connect Run Club, or let us know on the Facebook and vote. And actually, Trey, you are in the majority. I can't read that. I think it's 33 to 5 is what we were. So you definitely went out on that one.
That's funny.
Check it out. Join us and answer those questions. All right. And then our last question for this week. This week's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. This was a question coming from John Henry. We've got several questions from. He says, what are everyone's thoughts on 2-a-day runs, the benefits, the downsides of it? Should it be done all the time or during certain training cycles? How would you use this type of workout to your advantage?
Yeah, I think we've actually even talked about this in the past, but this is one I always like to revisit because I do strategically use the 2-a-days. And I think last time I answered it, I kind of made it sound like, hey, it's like good to do all the time. I want to preface that yes, I do think there is some value in 2-a-days. I think the things you have to be careful of on 2-a-days, in my opinion, both of those need to be easy. So I don't think either one of them needs to be a hard effort. I think they both need to be easy. I think the benefits is you're getting some mileage in, and on that second run, you're probably running on tired legs. So it kind of simulates being able to get a longer run in and running on tired legs. And being able to split it up, so you'll notice your time is probably going to be better running 2 5-milers than it is a 10-miler. So there's definitely benefits of running on those tired legs. Also for me, and I think last time we talked about this, it was a scheduling thing. So, hey, I may not be able to run 5 days a week, but I can get in the set number of runs because I know maybe on Saturday, maybe on Friday, I can actually get in 2 runs instead of 1. So I can squeeze in and make it work with my schedule. So there are some definite benefits to it, no doubt. I think the downside is just potential injury. You have to be careful. That's where I say, hey, you don't want to do it all the time. I think mixing it up is good. And the other ones that I've tried, and this actually has worked really good for me in some training plans. If you're marathon training, I've actually had done a long run within hours of each other. So in other words, I've done an 11-mile run, and then within 10 hours, I'll do it late that day. Then the next morning, I'd come back and do another 11-mile run. And trust me, you're not recovered from the first one. And so it does, you know how you're always looking to overcome that mental obstacle of, hey, I've got tired legs at the end of the race. A workout like that is a great way to do that. So you got to keep it even pace, but it allows you to be able to run on those tired legs, which a lot of times you're looking for ways to do that. So that would be the big thing for me. I wouldn't do it every week. Now look, if you're looking to do 6 miles or 8 miles today, you do a 3 and a 3 or 4 and 4. I mean, I've done that every week, so that's no big deal. But I think if you're looking into some of the longer runs, if you're getting any type of effort whatsoever, I would caution just try to make sure you stay healthy. So I'm a big fan of 2-a-days. Just make sure they're easy is my big thing. So what was the second part of the question?
Second part of the question, and this is one we've never gotten before.
Yeah.
But running camps for adults.
Yeah.
So he was asking, are they good? Like for the kids, kind of what's the point? So have you ever been to a running camp as an adult?
I have not. I've always wanted to go.
Okay.
And in fact, there's probably 2 things I haven't done that I like to do. One of them is our running camps, because there's plenty out there.
Give me some examples.
I think Dina Castro puts on a running camp. I think she has one. I'm pretty sure Greg McMillan has done a running camp as well. There are several out there that have happened. The other thing that I've wanted to do that's kind of like a running camp has been a multi-day race or stage race. Yep. So there are 3 to 4 stages in a race. So it's kind of like a running camp. I've always wanted to do one of those. I mean, I tell you what, the price on some of those, they were just like astronomical. So it's
almost like the running cruise. I know that Jenny Hadfield does. We've had on the podcast before. So they do like a cruise to the Bahamas, and then they run in different locations, which sounds amazing.
They do.
Doesn't Disney, isn't that one of the options? If you pay $10,000 or however much crazy money it is, you like go to the Keys or something and you do a race?
That's a good question.
Part of Run Disney. Isn't there like another option for that?
I know there is a cruise at the end of the marathon. So like you can run the marathon weekend. The very next week you can do. It's only like 5K though. It's not like Castaway Key or something like that. So So, but Disney will certainly take your money if you want to run on Castaway Key.
You'll have a good time. You'll be happy.
You'll have a great time. And you know what? Once you get back, you'll forget about all that money you spent. You'll be like, I'm crazy enough to do that again.
Yeah. So you would do a camp.
I would do a camp. I definitely would do a camp. It sounds like a lot of fun because, the thing is, and I think it's the same reason we love doing this, we love the Facebook group, is that, sometimes in life, it's the same reason we like to run with each other, is sometimes it's hard to find people of the exact same interest. And can you imagine being around 40 or 50 or 100 people who love doing the exact same thing? And so being a part of that group like that, because like I remember camp as a kid, and hey, there's some kids who like basketball, some who like football, some who liked, camping, whatever. But it was neat to be able to have, you always had better friendships with those who were doing stuff that you like. So can you imagine being at a camp with 50 or 60 other people, knowing every day you get to do something like this and learn at the same time? So I would, it sounds like a lot of fun. And, they even do for kids cross country, they even do, I've noticed for some high school athletes, they also have some different camps for high school athletes, which I may have to look into for my son one time. He's always talked about going to a cross country camp. So it sounds like a lot of fun too.
That's good. Well, sweet. Well, if you guys have been to a camp, let us know. In the group or on Twitter. We'd love to know. Well, guys, that is all that we've got for this week. So we will be back next Thursday, 3 p.m. If you're on Facebook, you can check it out, or you guys can check us out on our website, connectrunClub.com.
Yep. And I'll promise to wear a better shirt next week. I won't hurt your eyes if you're watching on.
Yeah, if you're listening, you're perfect. So just keep listening. You're good. So. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you next week. And until then, run connected.